Hey guys, before we get started, follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at LaunchpadPod, on our website, launchpadpod.com. Watch us on YouTube. Hit us up. Let us know what's going on. Big shout out to all the people who have been letting us know what they've been watching, the things that they like. I love hearing it. So yeah, hit us up. We love it. But today, we got some interesting stuff to talk about. We got a comic book to talk about. I watched a movie that I like, and Matt's going to help me figure out a problem. I got a problem to solve. So Matt's going.
Oh, you need some. I need some advice, some sage advice from your roomie.
I need some adulting. Yeah, how to handle a situation. So we're going to figure it out. Today's Launchpad Podcast.
Mission sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, welcome to Launchpad Podcast. I'm Aaron.
I'm Matt. Before we go further, I got to give a quick shout out and a quick clarification. All right.
Okay.
I like to do my art deals and I like to do my original comic art and I collect art and stuff.
Oh yeah.
My email has my Launchpad Podcast signature because the most professional stuff I do with my email is related to this podcast and interview. So all these poor nerds who are doing deals with me for art and stuff see that. And I would say at least once every big deal, at least one person from every big deal is like, oh, you have a podcast? What's it about? And then they look into it. And, we almost always get one long-term listener from every long deal that I do. Anyway, I'm in the middle of a deal right now. And I'm talking with my man, John Espinoza, and he goes, wait a minute. You guys are the ones that put the skull shirt on Dolph Lundgren. The deal I'm working with this guy is a Punisher art deal. And he's a huge Punisher collector. Like, he knows his shit. He's got some beautiful pages from all the way back. And he was like, I remember seeing that. And I was so excited because from my childhood also, I always wished that he had the shirt on. So we're talking and he's like, oh, I'm going to listen to your podcast. So he and I have been sending lengthy emails about all this deal we're working on, but also about Punisher stuff and nerd shit in general. The relevance of Punisher now. Is it okay to like him in the era of school shootings and shit? So we've kind of been philosophizing about that stuff.
Oh, also in his co-option by Hard Right and
Yep.
Coward Cops. Yeah.
So we're talking about stuff like that. And he goes, oh, I went on a long trip and I listened to a bunch of episodes, and he tells us a bunch of episodes that he's listening to. And I was like, oh, give me your feedback. Let me know. Good stuff, bad stuff. Doesn't matter. Tell me criticism. He's like, no real criticism, but I'm not quite sure who Roomie is. And I started laughing out loud. He goes, at first I thought it was Aaron, but then I thought maybe it's a different person entirely. And I realized as I was reading that, it's been a while since you and I have said roomies who no longer live together. Like, we tried to pepper that in every once in a while, but maybe we need to start doing that because like our listeners from back in the day know the deal. But if you guys have been listening and you don't know, we're both roomie. I'm roomie when he says it, and he's roomie when I'm saying it.
Yeah, we're just the collective roomie. We were roommates just out of college. Like when I first moved to LA, I ran into Matt. I knew Matt from college, and he's like, "Hey, my current roommate's kind of screwing me over. You want to come live with me in Pasadena?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's do this!" And the Launchpad was born. But we called each other roomie. It was just the ubiquitous name. I mean, even among our friend group, people were like, oh, roomies. That's roomie.
Yeah. And people would I know multiple friends who, when talking to me about you, would say roomie. Yeah. But the same people would say to you roomie while talking about me. Yes. Your wife does it.
Yeah. Say hi to roomie for me.
Roomie.
Yeah. She was like, say hi to roomie for me. That's funny. And I've been listening to a lot of podcasts in the car because I have like an hour commute to work. And I realize there's sometimes like this invisible person who's like the producer who literally is just like never really is involved with the conversation, but every now and then they'll be like, oh, Sophie's not laughing at my joke. So
like on a radio show, that like radio announcers and shit do that.
There's like a producer there who they are like, so maybe, yeah, they could think of Roomie. Is he the
Yeah, I
the
guess like
invisible hand?
if you're new, right? If you're
Yeah.
just listening to one of our things and we just throw it in there casually, it does kind of sound like. So I kind of understand where John was coming from, but just so everyone knows, I'm Roomie and he's Roomie. It's just whoever's saying it, we're talking about the opposite.
Yeah. Is that confusing? I don't know, but it's not going away. So
well,
you
he
just
said
better
that,
get
and I
used
was
to
like, well, he can't be the only person that's thinking that. He's just the only person that said it, right? So I don't know if that helps set anybody else straight. I hope you still are enjoying it, even if you don't know who the fuck we're talking about at any given moment.
Hey, as long as you're cracking up, I don't give a fuck. You can think there's like 9 people in here. All right. So yeah, Roomie, where do you want to start? You want
Roomie Matt, just so, yeah, right?
Roomie too. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start solving my neighborhood problems?
Yeah,
my
I'm dying
adult
to hear
problems?
that because I love you. You're a brother to me, and I want to do everything I can. So
yeah,
I want to hear what this is and see if I can.
Okay. So I need to figure out how to solve this problem. We have a new neighbor. They just moved in less than 2 weeks ago. They moved in like right after the 4th.
Okay.
And they have not picked up their dog shit since they moved in. And I'm trying to figure out a way to approach this because at this point, I don't get the benefit of, hey, my name's Aaron. It's nice to meet you, blah, 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 blah. I'm already coming at him with just like beef. And because of me being me, when I try to solve a problem, and part of what I'm very good at is anticipating all the branches, all the alternate timelines that this problem could take. And right now, I'm stuck between him going, oh, yeah, sure. Sorry, I'll pick up the dog shit, or Peckinpahyan level of violence. So like, should I be buying ammunition right now? Like, is he going to have a tood with me? Like already, like it's just escalating out of control. And I've never even seen this guy. And that's the other weird thing. I've never seen an adult at this house. The only people I've seen at this house is a bunch of children. So now I'm like, is this some don't tell mom the babysitter's dead situation? I was just going to say, you're thinking of Sam Peckinpah. I'm thinking of don't tell mom the babysitter's dead. Yeah. So I've only seen children, and usually I'm not going to go up and talk to children as a strange adult man, but the dog was literally in the act of shitting. And I was outside and I was like, hey, you're going to pick that up, right? And the kid looked at me. I was like, your dog, are you going to pick up his poop? Yeah. Okay. And then she just looked at me and walked inside and left the shit. And I was like, oh, and Kay was like, go knock on the door. And I was like, I can't go knock on the door right now. Like again, like that's coming onto their turf. I want to catch him off guard when he's outside, like doing something else and be like, hey buddy, what's going on? Pick up your dog.
You need a stakeout then is what
I'm trying to, I bought a camera and trained it on the side yard.
It's been 2 weeks and you're already getting audio visual equipment.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's go to one. So then I at least have photographic evidence of this happening, or photographic evidence that this is a don't tell mom the babysitter's dead Peter Pan thing going on. Did you set
this up already? The camera and stuff?
Yeah. Camera's going right now.
So do you already have video or pictures of a grown-up in the
Never seen a grown-up. No.
Still, just even on the footage?
No, it's all children. There are no adults. I've counted and more children keep appearing. Like it was just this little boy, and now it's like a little girl. And then I saw another little girl. So it's like more children keep appearing, but like
you need adults to make little kids. I know that for sure.
Not unless you killed them all and now you're just living there pretending that you have parents.
So when you said I've never seen this guy, I assumed it was a Salem's Lot situation. Until you said there's a ton of kids. Now I think you're right. Now I think it might be a don't tell mom.
And Kate's like, well, we saw that guy one night. I'm like, I did see an adult, but that doesn't mean they weren't just bringing an adult back to like sacrifice.
No, that was a Michael Jordan cardboard cutout on a train.
Every single night they play Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, which is like odd. I mean, I can't knock it because that's a good Christmas song of one of the few, but like, yeah, man, they,
All right. So here's something I need to understand. And I'm sure our listeners are thinking the same. You live in a house, not an apartment, right?
Right. And we have a shared
you have
yard.
Your own lawn. Oh,
yes.
A shared yard?
Yeah. Our yard.
How does that work?
There's no fence. So the yard just.
They're behind you?
They're next to me.
Oh, I see. And that's where the shit is happening, but in no man's land between?
In the no man's land in between, where my child plays and where I mow the grass and walk and poop.
Now, if you were to measure that space and kind of delineate the middle, is it not just on their side?
It kind of is, but like when Sammy's running around in the yard, she doesn't know where the lot line is. And like, fuck that. I don't want dog shit lying around in the yard. Like, period. That's a shared yard. No, they shouldn't have any dog shit. So here's what I have done. I'm hoping they're listening because I put one of our pogs in their mailbox. So maybe they're listening, and now
solved. Can you please explain what the pog? I mean, I know people. Hopefully, everyone knows what a pog is, but can you tell what our pogs are?
So I wanted to make business cards for the first time. We went to San Diego Comic-Con, and I made these circular business cards with our logo on it. As for those watching the YouTube can see, I got the logo up behind me. And I had it printed on these circular business cards. On the front, it's the logo. On the back has some information, website, and all that shit. And they were really fun, and they're fun to throw out to people. And like when we at the end, like we had fun like
to literally throw at people.
Oh yeah, and like we played this game where you're like, because at Comic-Cons, at cons, you have these big bags that they give out to carry all your swag in, and we were like sneaking the pogs into people's bags. They're not literally pogs, but we call them pogs because they're circular.
They pretty much look like pogs.
And we were sneaking them into people's bags. And on the last night, we were at this like dance party, and I was going ham, and I just took like whatever I had left and like made it rain in the dance floor, and people like slipping on
there was
the
a
box.
guy like fucking break dancing in the middle, like Roomy was
and
dancing and then he left the circle and this guy just break danced and Roomy just fucking made it rain launchpad pogs all over this poor guy. Please, if you guys got one of our pogs at Comic-Con and you're listening because of that pog, can you please respond and comment to us and let us know you're a pog listener?
Yeah.
Those are called pogateers. You're a pogateer if you are a listener from a pog.
They're like, wait a second, that wasn't sponsored by San Diego Comic-Con. I feel lied to all these years.
Launchpad pog. Oh man. That was all right. So that was go look at those pictures because I know we posted a ton of them. Remember we did that like Matrix?
Yeah, that was cool, right?
Thing? That was cool. All right, so back to your shit problem.
So I picked up the shit. I wasn't going to, but I picked it up. I put it in a bag and I put it on his step.
That's not what you do.
Because maybe he'll get the idea that.
When was that? Today?
That was yesterday. And today, in our recycling bin, there was a bag of shit. So maybe they got the message and picked up their shit, kind of like passive aggressive to put it in my recycling bin, but I will take it over just leaving it in the grass.
That's a step up then.
Yeah, exactly.
We had a similar thing. Well, we had new neighbors move in next door to us and they were parked like the parkway, like the space between our driveway and their driveway can fit two cars. And me and Amanda each have a car. So we usually park tandem in the parking in a driveway. But then if I need to get my car out and hers is in the way, I pull it into the street in front and then I leave in my car. But these new neighbors were parking directly in the middle of that space. So they were using one car to take up two spaces. And the problem is everybody here has a ton of cars. So it's hard to find a parking spot.
Yeah.
So they were killing an extra parking spot for no reason. And I had never met them. So it was one of those things where I was like, fuck, I can't just go over and be like, hey, your fucking car's in the way because I never met you before. And that's kind of not great etiquette. So I eventually introduced myself first, and then I let it go. And then the next time I saw them, I was like, hey, can you do me a favor? And it was fine. So I would say, here's what you do. And I don't mind throwing down when it's time to throw down, but for sure you win more or you catch more flies with honey, right?
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I want. But I'm already
make some cookies. Make
with
some
dog
cookies
shit?
No. Make some cookies. And this isn't problem child. This is regular life.
Okay.
Make some cookies or a gesture or a muffins or a whatever, and go over you and Kate and the baby, and say, hey, we're the McLeans. We live next door. Sorry, we haven't said hi. We've just been crazy busy. We want to let you guys get settled. Here's some fucking cookies. Blah. Great. See how that goes.
See what happens. Okay. So
then you're gonna get dog shit with cookie bits in it on the property the next day.
No, because we're gonna go over and knock on the door, and like two kids are gonna answer, and they'll be like, "Are your parents home?" And they're like, "Yes." but they can't come to the door right now. And I'll be like, what the fuck is going on? All right. I know this is some Peter Pan shit. Look, I'm not even going to call the cops on you. Just pick up after your fucking dog.
So you got to go at night, like during dinner time, like right before or right after dinner time. Because if it is a regular family, that's the best time to get parents.
Yeah.
You know, because they wouldn't be at work.
Right.
And if you see a very tall parent that looks like it has a child's face, and if you hear giggling,
make the same joke.
If you hear giggling from under the house coat, you got to try to get them to walk or something and see if they wiggle, and then you know it's more than one kid in a coat.
If his hand is a broom with a glove on the end of it, you know that this is bullshit.
You also can like engage in a conversation that someone only someone over the age of 20 would know. You know what I mean?
You remember 9/11? Where were you?
I like that was your go-to. I was thinking something more pop culture based, but yeah, sure. 9/11, jump right in there. Whether that's a kid or an adult, that'll be a great conversation to have on their porch during meeting them for the first time to break the ice about, please stop having your dog shit on my lawn. He closes the door and he's like, honey, I just met that guy who put the shit on our door. I'm pretty sure he's a 9/11 conspiracist.
It wasn't on his door. It was next to a pile of shit at the bottom of his steps that they had left. It was just kind of like a reminder of like, hey, you see the shit at the bottom of your steps? Here's the other shit that goes with it. Please.
What kind of dog do they have?
It's a little puggle. It's cute. I met him. The dog's cute.
Make some sort of constipation cookies for the dog.
Oh, yeah.
Problem solved regardless of whether there's children or adults in the house. That's my serious answer would be go say hi, bring some cookies, introduce yourself. And then after that, it's free reign to be like the separate time. Hey, I noticed this. Would you mind, I always be like the first time I'm like, I hate to be a pain, but I have a baby and they're playing out there. Would you mind at least just keep that one area clean? I'm happy to give you bags or whatever.
It's the whole area. There is no budging that. Keep the whole fucking area clean. This is a shared space. And they're renters. That's what I mean.
The shared space. There's part of their lawn that's not shared space, right?
Yeah. Well, shared with somebody else. Go poop on their lawn.
I don't give a shit. I don't know if there are kids playing in their shit, but you go shit on their side.
Yeah. But they're also renters. So like if worse gets to worse, I'll just go to the management company and be like, they're terrible. Make them pack up and get them out of here.
The manager's gonna be like, did you talk to them about it?
I'd be like, okay, it's really complicated. You remember 9/11?
The manager's going to be like, well, the problem is it's not rent control exactly, but it's really hard to evict 10 7-year-olds from a house. So I got to see my legal rights here.
Right?
If it was a whole family, like a regular family, a conventional family, I'd put them out on the street, no problem. But the fact that there's no grown-ups in that house makes things a little more complicated.
I'm going to have to look up Pippi Longstocking versus the state of California. And her dad was a pirate, so it was fucked up. The Boxcar Children versus New Mexico. It's, there's some precedent here, but are they solving any mysteries? Because that really doesn't bode well for you if they are.
When you started saying it was a dog shit related problem, I was like, oh, that's kind of boring. I was hoping it would be something more interesting. But now I'm intrigued by the possible vampire, possible no parent situation. I'm hoping it's one of those.
That's what I'm thinking. And like, yeah, I already don't like them. I mean, just the fact that they turn on their porch light at night when I'm trying to sit out on my porch and it's just like a blindingly bright light next door. Hate that. So now I'm going to have to like put up lattice or something like. Just like, they're not winning. Sorry, dude. I know you're listening because you got the pog, but like, I haven't even met you and I already think you're an asshole. So let's fix that. Let's work on that.
You don't think that pog ended up in your recycling bin too?
Wrapped in a dog turd. He used it to pick up dog shit and flick it towards my recycling bin.
How awesomely passive aggressive would that be if the next time you went into that shared space, there was a big old pile of dog shit with just a pog sticking at the top, like a fancy cracker in a dessert at a restaurant?
The wafer on a shit sundae.
That's what it is.
Oh, brilliant. Jesus Christ. So yeah, hopefully that resolves and hopefully my kid isn't like, look, daddy, Tootsie Roll. And I'm like, great, thanks. Cool. Thanks, kid.
I can't wait to see the promo art for this episode. I know we're going to talk about other stuff, but like,
yeah. Well, let's talk about some other stuff. You made me read a comic book. You were like, "Hey, I read this comic book. You want to read it?" And I was like, "Okay." So I rushed through and tried to read it. I've gone digital with my comic books for the most part, unless it's like a trade that I can get all at once. And I guess they just released a trade paperback like this.
Literally month. This week.
I don't like to collect single issues of anything. But this is Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, The Last Ronin. Cool. Ooh, look at that. Roomie's got the big old book
cover. It's good. It's so I read a little bit about it. Tom Waltz, Iso and Isaac Escorza, Ben Bishop, Kevin Eastman, who we've had on the show.
Ben Bishop's
Luis
on the show, yeah.
Antonio Delgado. It's apparently it is the last Ninja Turtle story, right? It's the Dark Knight Returns of Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, it's Old Man Logan of Ninja Turtles.
And I guess in the afterword, which is written by in this book, which is written by, and if you can't see me, I'm holding up the hardcover. It's written by Kevin Eastman, and he says that him and Peter Laird, when they were writing Ninja Turtles and they were doing a regular comic, they once supposed like, okay, what's the last story going to be? Where would this be in 30 years? And they kind of wrote a bunch of notes and an outline, I guess, of a story. It doesn't say how detailed it was. But then later, it says that I think it's Tom Waltz, who is a Ninja Turtle alum from other stuff, I think. He and Kevin Eastman kind of got together. Yeah, Tom Waltz. They got together and were like, hey, let's write the last story. What would that be like? And Kevin Eastman was like, well, I already have this, essentially like a treatment. And it looks like they kind of went through that, discussed that, and then Eastman and Waltz kind of put their finalized spin on it and actually, and actually wrote it. And the art is by 3 or 4 different artists. There's a now story, there's a flashback story, and then there's like a different type of flashback story. And each is done by a different artist, which is I think a kind of a cool visual. It shows you, at any given time where you are based on how the art looks, which is, something we've seen done before, but it's still pretty fun.
I will say this. I don't know if this is true, but I want to say that this comic series has the most variant covers ever of any comic series.
It has
ever.
A shit ton of covers.
The first book, book 1, had 78 different variants, and I'm looking at the book 5 now, and there's like 3 pages of variant covers that I'm just like, okay, well, hey, cool. If that gets people to buy it, great.
The hardcover has a bunch in the end, but not all of them. And I think when they did Dark Knight 3, they released a hardcover that was just all the variants in one book, which I think is beautiful. I just like that whole world, the design of Dark Knight Returns. But maybe they'll do something like that with this, where you could have all the variant covers, because some of them are badass. Some of them are pretty cool.
Some of them are badass. Here's my thing though, is like, I am not like variant covers don't do it. I don't care. Like, I just don't care. Like, the content inside, is that the same? Great. The cover doesn't matter to me. Some covers are cooler than others, and sometimes I'm like, I wish I had that cover, but I'm not like hunting it down.
As a collector, you mean like which one you're going to get?
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about.
I agree with that. Although I would, if it was a character or a series I liked, like I like this book. I thought this was a fun book. If they released a hardcover or trade that had all the covers in it, I would get it, just because I like to see like for the Dark Knight, to again use that example. It's like, let me see what Kelly Jones wants this to look like. Let me see what Dave Gibbons wants this to look like. Let me see what Amanda Connor wants this to look like. It's pretty cool to look at all different interpretations of the same character or the same property. I'm not going to collect it. I agree with you. I'm not going to chase things down.
Yeah.
I guess unless it has a sentimental value, which it really, for a single issue of a comic, it probably doesn't.
Probably not. I mean, and I know it's a good tool for sales. I know that people like that, but
right.
For me, it's just kind of like, oh, that one is only available at Walmart or whatever. Well, if I'm not at Walmart, then I don't get it, and that's fine with me.
Yeah, I agree. It's cool to see, but I'm not going to chase him.
No, I hope they keep doing it because I do think it gives like cool artists the chance to do cool stuff. And that's always fun, you know. Like you said, I do like to see like what Simon Bisley would do for the cover of this, which
yeah.
They have a couple like Simon Bisleys, and you know they have a bunch. Justin Roiland did one.
I saw that. Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
That one's at least I don't know how many he did, but there's one of his in the book.
But that's fun. But this series, like you said, it's kind of the last Ninja Turtle story, and set like way in the future, and there's only, as the title suggests, there's one turtle left. And I like in the first book that they kind of play it as a mystery because he has all the weapons. He's got the bow staff. He's got a katana.
And he's wearing a black mask, a black bandana.
And he's beat the fuck up. He is definitely Dark Knight Returns level grizzled.
Mm-hmm.
And I like
he's
that.
He's big. He's muscular.
Yeah. I love the look of it. I like that there's a mystery, but at the end of the first book, I guess, they reveal who it is. Should we spoil it, Roomy?
Spoiler coming. And now to preface that, when this book was coming out, because you and I know Ben Bishop, we know Kevin Eastman, you know, through the show, all their social media was all about it. And I was purposely not looking into it because I wanted to read it. And I understood that this was a mystery. I was bummed when in the first issue, they told the mystery. I had heard it previous to that. And I thought it was a bigger reveal, but it's revealed in the end of the first issue. So it really isn't that big of a spoiler, but it is a spoiler.
It is. It's Michelangelo. Ha! The party dude, the fun-loving party guy is the grizzled fucking last turtle alive. And then you're like, it's cool. It does do a cool thing because like I assumed it was Leonardo or Raphael or something like that. You never think it's going to be Ringo, right? You never think it's going to be.
He would be the first one that got killed to create this situation, right? Yeah,
him being a goofball and then he like dies. So you know he's avenging his brother's deaths, and it is. That part of the story is really cool, and to see his maturity of that, and he's being haunted by their ghosts. Like literally, they talk to him, and he has arguments with them, and arguments about Splinter, and you know what he's trying to do, and the whole thing is about you know him trying to get revenge on for their deaths with Shredder's grandson,
right? Which
is pretty cool setup, and the world's very futuristic, which I like.
Have you read a lot of Ninja Turtles?
I wouldn't say a lot, but I read the original like compendium of like the first compendium that's like the original wackiness, which is pretty fun. And then I read the first trade of like the reboot that they did recently, like within the past 5 years. And then I read this.
Yeah, see, I've read a handful of books here and there spotted. For the interviews and stuff that we did with Eastman and Bishop, I read, you know, whatever's current at the time. I read a couple things here and there, but I don't know a lot about the most recent stuff, which ostensibly this book is a, you know, sequel of. Yeah. I know who Shredder's daughter is. I know that she was supposed to be honorable and that she was not bad for a while, but then she did turn bad.
The Electra knockoff.
Yeah. I don't really know what happened with that, but like this book is pretty cool because you can read it pretty cold. I mean, you could read it really without even knowing who the Ninja Turtles are, but if you know what I know, which is just the basic gist of what they do, it doesn't matter if you don't know the intricacies of anything you need to know. They kind of do a really good job of explaining it and kind of bringing you into the continuity. Like there was a whole big war, but if you don't know about that, just know that this guy went after this guy and this happened. You're like, okay, I get that. And it works.
And I like that the you know the future world feels very well put together. Like it's a cool like dystopian future, kind of Blade Runner-y with a like ninja vibe. I like the has this kind of like cinematic urgency to it, where like he is desperate to like finish this and get revenge.
That's a good way to describe it.
Everyone else who's involved, like Casey Jones's daughter and April O'Neil is involved, and she's like a badass grizzled person, and Baxter Stockman is one of the villains. They're all side plots of like trying to like shut down the mainframe so he can get in. You know, it's in Star Wars. It's we got to shut down the reactor so that the shield,
the shield generator on
shield
Endor.
generator. So like that
That's
kind of
the same
urgency
thing.
of like we got to get this shit done so that the mission can continue is fun, and it's well done. Sometimes it doesn't really translate in comics when you try to do like side mission stuff like that. But like I said, this feels very cinematic and done well. I love the ghosts, the Ninja Turtle ghosts talking to Mikey. That's really cool. And just if the art's good too. I really like the art.
Well, for the cinematic urgency that you said, I really like this. The whole first issue essentially is action. It's essentially a huge action scene for almost the entire issue. I would say at least the first 75% of the issue is action. And Michelangelo, we don't know him yet that it's Michelangelo, but the Last Ronin, he is trying to infiltrate this building. He's trying to assault this building. And you really do like the storytelling, both the narrative as well as the art itself really does roll from one panel to the next, one page to the next. And you feel like you're running across rooftops with him and tumbling through. There's explosions and he's jumping through windows and he's fighting. And it really does feel like he walks into a room filled with guys and just boom, 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 pinball bounces from one to the next till he's through that room. And it does do a good job of keeping it fast paced. Like it does feel like you are in the middle of that battle. And then later, there's plenty of other action scenes too, as well as a huge climactic battle. There's actually a huge climactic battle that's very Saving Private Ryan-esque for a minute. And then it turns into him versus Shredder's grandson. And that battle, even though I feel like the Shredder, the new Shredder character is kind of underdeveloped, unless in previous books people know who they are. Maybe they know who they are and I don't. But
he's pretty archetypal though. Like he
doesn't really do anything except be like, I'm Dr. Doom.
Yeah, I'm in the shadow of my father, but I'm going to take his legacy and put on the armor and kick some ass. All right.
But it was one of those okay, I don't know anything about how you're fighting based on this book. Like, would Michelangelo mop the floor with you, or would it be a good fight? You don't really know. But then in the last fight, he breaks out in this armor, and Michelangelo is explaining to us how the armor is tough to fight. So you're like, okay, I get it. And that battle goes on for most of that issue, and it's a good fight. And again, I feel like it's really doing a good job, like you said, cinematically, of running us through that fight, rolling us. There's a lot of falling out of buildings in this. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Multiple
lots.
falling out of building.
The final fight goes on for at least 17 pages. Like it's huge. And
it doesn't feel bad. It feels like I'm interested in it. It's good. Sometimes you read a fight, and for me, it's just like too much. It's the same as too much dialogue. You just like look at it, but you're not really absorbing what's happening in the panel. You're just like, okay, he's punching him, he's grabbing him. This is a pretty good fight, and there's a couple different stages. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Especially like you said, when they're in one point they're in a building, they fall off the building, they get kicked off a different building. They're fighting in the sewers. They go through the ground. Like they get washed out to the ocean. Like it's cool.
It's fun. It's well done, and it's a good fight. And I think it was one of those books you kind of reading it, and spoiler alert, you kind of feel like he's going to die at the end. Numerous times, the entire series, he's saying it's a suicide mission, so you're kind of gearing up for that. But I think even though it was a foregone conclusion, it still worked. It didn't like when at the end, we've all read that book where the guy, the hero expires at the end. You're like, I know. I didn't feel like that. I was like, okay, this is a fitting ending. It works. It's poetic in what it is, and it fits.
But then it has hope afterwards. You have April O'Neil and her daughter, Casey O'Neil Jones. Casey Jones'
Marie
daughter.
Jones.
Yeah, Casey Marie Jones. She's being trained as a ninja, and at the end, April and Casey are mutagening some new turtles, so they're gonna make more Ninja Turtles. Good for them! Hooray!
This book, if you guys haven't read it, it's good, and it's they do a good amount of like grabbing from the old Ninja Turtle lore. So there's like a Fugitoid callback.
I love that. Yeah. Fugitoid plays a big part in it. Yeah. I like
it. Works. And that stuff works. Like when that happens, it works. It's not like, you're just pandering. At no point did I feel like it was pandering. And they did a lot of Easter eggs and callbacks and nods to different movies and books. Star Wars, Nightfall was in there. There was a I Will Break You thing. There's a lot of direct comparisons to Dark Knight Returns. And I think they in the foreword or maybe the afterword, they thank Frank Miller specifically, as well as some other people. But we know that Frank Miller was a heavy influence on the first one, first Ninja Turtles as well.
Big time.
But Baxter Stockman's in there
as like a cyborg dude. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, pretty
Comes
yeah,
back
like
as
almost
like
like a zombie cyborg.
Yeah,
right?
it comes back all freddied out. It looks awesome.
Pretty cool.
Here's what I got. I got a question. This is an aside. If you got to make 4 new mutated turtles, would you name them like after Renaissance figures again, or like you have 4 slots to fill? What are you calling them?
Banksy, Zuckerberg. No, that would be good. Zuckerberg, Musk. Who's the Amazon Prime guy? Let's just call him Prime.
Bezos. Yeah. Oh God.
I would keep it as a 4. I don't think I'd do painters. I might try to do contemporary artist if I thought that gimmick would work. Otherwise, I think I would definitely keep it a quartet, quadruplet of something that made sense together. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I would too. Like, is it a Spielberg, Kubrick, start naming them directors, or do you have
that'd be cool.
Freddy, Jason, Pinhead, and Michael?
2 on the nose and 2 evil. I like the directors. The directors would be pretty good.
Yeah. Basquiat, Georgia O'Keeffe.
Georgia, the Ninja Turtle.
Yeah. Like very Gonic art related.
Well, this book goes into 2 things, and I kind of wish they'd teased it more and then explored it better, but they just kind of throw both of them on the table. They talk about how Mikey's mutation is enhancing him the older he gets. So he's aging slower and healing faster and getting stronger as he grows and as he ages, which I think is very interesting, but they just kind of like say it in 2 throwaway lines. It's not really, there should have been a thing where Mikey's like, I'm getting older, but I almost feel better. He's always got his ass kicked, but he doesn't complain about being old or tired. Like that was a big thing in Dark Knight Returns. He's always like, my knees are popping and I'm a slow old man. Michelangelo doesn't really do that in this. It would have been cool if he was questioning, why do I feel so good, whatever. And then April says, I've done some tests and your mutation is evolving. It's enhancing.
Well, and they get into some weird shit about the mutation. Like Casey, the daughter, has some sort of mutation thing going on just because her parents were around the Ninja Turtles. Like, wait, are they radioactive now? Like, what is happening?
They just say that, and they say it twice, and they don't explain it more than that. And it's cool, but like, tell me more.
A turtle?
I honestly thought that's where we were going for a second there. I was like, wait, is Michelangelo her father?
What? No, that's a little flimsy, but I don't care. It's a comic book.
It was cool. It was an interesting thing. I just wish and it could be comic book logic. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be real science. Captain America getting frozen in ice and surviving.
Sure,
like,
right? Exactly.
Make it sound okay, and I would have bought it. But like they just were like, yeah, we were around you guys so long that my daughter now has super strength, and you're like,
well, and they do this thing.
I'm not no scientist, but
they do this thing in the later issues where like every conversation has to get like ramped up to 11, or like they're just everybody's yelling at each other. Why didn't you tell me? And she's like, I was trying to, but I didn't get a chance. And everybody's yelling. And you're like, why are you guys yelling? Why is this a school? It's like, because that's drama these days. That's how we get drama into the situation.
There's a lot of naked Michelangelo in this book. Just like standing there naked, like when he's not fighting, he's like literally naked. He's got nothing on. And it was like kind of awkward for me to read that. And then I started thinking about it, and I said to myself, like, well, what would you have him wear? And I was like, I don't know, like clothes or a shirt. Or I was like, we grew up with them naked. All they had on was belts and knee pads and eye pads, eye bandana.
Well, the problem is when we first meet him, he has like a ninja costume on with pants. So suddenly when the pants are gone, it's like...
Well, right, because you're introducing me to him with pants.
Yeah.
So when he doesn't have pants on, they're missing. If you just did like, we grew up, that's what you're saying. You're right. Well, we grew up with them without pants, but they weren't missing because we didn't see them in pants. Even when they went to go see a movie in a trench coat, they still had on no pants, which should be creepy, right? Anytime you see a trench coat with no clothes on underneath, it's supposed to be sketchy.
Yeah, Pee Wee Herman's like, hey, see, look, I'm not the only guy.
But yeah, that was weird. And also the way they drew his eyes. What did you think about the way they drew his eyes?
I like blank eyes, but they're blank all the time.
But they're little blank circles, which is, I think, what got me. They're not like the Batman triangles.
Except when he has the mask on. When he has the mask on, they're like triangles. But like
when he just has regular eyes, you know what they remind me of? Bato in Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
He does look like Bato.
I thought that like issue 1, and then I could not get it out of my head. That's Bato.
Yeah, I can see that. They doesn't bother me. Again, it's at least they were consistent.
It didn't bother me. It was interesting. I just was like, those are cyber enhanced eyes. I
love the Fugitoid callback. They do a cool thing with him. Baxter Stockman is like a Terminator character, is really cool. And when he dies, I love the art on these like 4 panels, because like he's absorbing all this power, overloading, and then he like shatters. And I was like, that's fucking cool. It's well done art. Really, really cool drawing, neat scene. And then like, yeah, he's training Casey Jones' daughter to be the next like generation of ninjas, which that's cool. That's a cool setup.
So she's the Carrie Kelly Robin.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Which is what, and it's fine. I feel like this is actually a really good book to talk about an homage and talk about nods to something without being overtly stealing. Like clearly it is heavily influenced by Dark Knight Returns, right? But I feel like we've all read other books that are essentially just Dark Knight Returns, but with their character. I didn't think that's what this was. I think it obviously took a lot from it, but it was like, let's take that idea and translate it into Ninja Turtle world. And I think that worked really well. So I think this is like a great idea, a great example of an homage. What do you think?
I mean, because Ninja Turtles was always kind of a parody of its in its own right, and then gets taken really seriously. Like I put it on par with like Invincible in that, right, where it gets to do its own thing, but still like borrow whatever it wants, and be super unique in that sense. Like there's an entire thing about them in Japan for a minute, like this like flashback, which I thought was kind of interesting because it has some cool like pretty gory moments of like Splinter kicking ass in this flashback.
Cutting a guy's head in half, and we see it from behind the head. That's cool.
Yeah. And I thought that was pretty interesting, but it shows, the flashbacks serve to show like how the Ninja Turtles die, bit by bit, and who gets, how we got to this point, which I thought it was a cool way to handle it. It kept the intrigue going throughout the rest of the series. Like now that we know this is Michelangelo, well, how did everybody else fucking die? And they kind of lay that out, which I thought was a good way to do it.
I just wish it was storytelling wise done the opposite. I wish we don't know. And there's devices and plot elements that wouldn't have worked as is if you do it the way I'm about to describe. So I understand that that's not what they were doing, but it would have been cool if you didn't know you didn't know it was Michelangelo to the end, but then you peppered in the breadcrumbs throughout the story of how each turtle died. So like the first turtle we see die is Raphael. So like, I think that's like issue 2 or issue 3. If you see that, then you're like, okay, so I know Raphael is probably not the last Ronin. Then later on, you could see Donatello dying. You're like, oh, okay, so I know it's not Donatello. I think that would have been a slightly more intriguing way to do it than the opposite way around. But that's just me and my preference, I guess. It still was really cool.
No, yeah, because you could do this like, okay, check the list down. I know it's not Raphael because I just watched him die, but who the fuck is it? Like, I think that would be, you're right. I agree that would be the way to go. But like everybody's fucked up. April's missing a leg. She's missing an arm. She has robot arms. Like everybody is just.
Casey dies with Leonardo. So Casey's dead.
Yeah. Like it's very interesting. Raphael dies like peppered with arrows. He's got arrows all up in him.
Yeah. That's really cool. He looks awesome.
And he dies almost killing
Karai.
Yeah.
Splinter's Shredder's daughter.
Shredder's daughter, yeah. which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And then Eastman gets in there with a couple pages for the flashbacks. Like
Mikey's
they draw
flashbacks.
Yeah, they draw some flashbacks of their own, which is cool. I think they did a great job.
Any standout scenes for you?
Like I mentioned, I really like the Baxter Stockman stuff. He's not a fly, which is always a little bit of a bummer for me when Baxter Stockman is a normal dude. Which is always a bummer.
Douche.
Yeah, just some guy. But he's a cyborg in this, so that's cool. I guess if he can't be a fly, then I'll take Cyborg Man. I like how he dies. I like the first issue a lot. Just the setup is cool and really hooks you. And then I think the final battle, again, lots of good action. Some of the scenes in the middle have a lot of exposition, like some of the flashback. You're like, I don't really care about that, but that's fine.
I like at the end of the first issue, he's about to Michelangelo Last Ronin is about to commit seppuku, and I thought that was cool. Like I thought that was a scene that had a lot of gravity. He lay for you guys who don't know, that's like ritual suicide for a samurai, and it is a way to maintain or salvage honor. And the whole first issue is Michelangelo trying to raid this bad guy's tower and kill him. And he ends up getting knocked out the window and falling almost to his death, but then he's okay. He crawls back down in the sewer and he's like, my mission failed. I can't do this. I was unsuccessful. I can't die just from my injuries. If I die from my injuries, that's without honor. So he puts all of the 4 Ninja Turtle weapons in front of him, all 4 bandanas. He stretches across them and he takes Leonardo's broken sword and he's about to commit seppuku, which is Harry Carey and Casey Jones' daughter.
They're different, Remy. They're different. I had to look all this shit up on set one day.
What's the difference?
Well, okay, there is a difference, and it's a level of ritualism. One of them, and here's the thing: I looked it up, but I can't tell you what it is. I totally forgot. One of them is a ritualistic, is like more ritualistic and more of a for higher class. And one of them, it's the same fucking thing, but one of them is like you just go and do it. Like, again, I could be wrong, but like you say seppuku is like something that a samurai does to regain honor, and it's part of like a ceremony, whereas Harry Carey is like, he just offed himself, and it still has a level of honor, but it's a lower class thing. It's like it's a different class of it. Again, I don't know which is which at this point because I forgot, but we were on set one day and everybody was talking about Harry Carey and seppuku, and we had to look it up.
And got half the answers. Good job.
Well, we had the answer.
We got the gist of the difference.
We got the gist of the difference and couldn't bring it home.
Well, I think it's a really good scene. And it happens real quick. And it's like, to me, we've now seen the Last Ronin in this first issue kill a bunch of I guess they're robots mostly. But like, we know this is serious. It's not, Cowabunga. Although I think a Cowabunga somewhere would have been cool as a throwback. But maybe that was... Maybe if they did that, I would have said it was pandering, which I don't think this book did. So that's good. But that scene just hit me. I was like, wow, fuck, we're getting serious here. And he's almost about to do it.
I do think it's funny that you don't think it's pandering, yet they have like Fugitoid in there and you're not like, it's like they might as well just put a blockbuster in there and play Sweet Home Alabama while they're doing it.
I just talked about that to my friend the other day and she was like, wait, they did do that. And I was like, yeah. And why did they do that? And she was like, no reason. They just wanted us to like the music. I was like, yes.
There's nothing wrong with wanting people to like the music.
I hate that music. No, like in this Fugitoid, like that made sense. Like I'm trying to think of another book that I've read. Daredevil End of Days. Did you ever read that?
No.
It's like Dark Knight Returns, but for Daredevil. And it's pretty good. And in that, there's Ben Urich is trying to solve a mystery of who killed Daredevil and why, or how did Daredevil die, and there's a new Daredevil and what's going on. There's a mystery there, and he's going back and interviewing different villains and stuff. And there are some fun Daredevil callbacks, but it makes sense. Like it makes sense how that character would ascend to that level, or why is Elektra a soccer mom now? Like that kind of stuff. Fugitoid, I felt, was like that because, like, obviously Fugitoid is their, cyborg, and I think I guess he's he's got a human consciousness or an alien consciousness, right? But whatever. Cyborg, android, robot. Of course, you would need him to patch into the mainframe of Baxter Stockman's blah, 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 blah. Okay, that makes sense. I'm on board for that. That makes sense. Casey Jones had a daughter who, is now the new Casey Jones. Okay, that makes sense. I get that. And I thought they handled it well,
I would have liked a cowabunga, or at least eat some pizza. I don't know. They do show some pizza, though. They show a few pizzas.
And then there's a fart joke at the end.
It was good. I haven't read a comic book in a long time, so I was really happy to sit down and read this. This was fun. Thanks.
It was a fun read. Like I was reading it for pleasure, and then you and I talked earlier this week. Like, hey, what do you want to do? I said, I'm reading The Last Ronin. It's pretty fun. You want to jump in on that? And you were like, yeah. So then it became like homework. But it was like there were times where we would do something, and I'm just trying to get it done in time for the show. Even if I enjoy it, I'm still thinking it's homework first. But this was fun. This was a good read, and I will read it again at some point, and I feel like I'll probably kind of process and digest a little bit more of the story second read. Same thing with the art. I think I'll kind of get a little bit more of it the next time.
How do you when you read a comic book? Here's my process. I look at all the pictures first. Don't even read the words. I get the
whole book or each page or each panel?
Whole book. I just look at all the pictures.
Through the entire thing without reading any words?
Yeah, I read I get the gist.
Yeah.
Because if I read the words, the pictures would be distracting. So I get the distraction out of the way of all the pictures, and then I go back and read the words. And the pictures are like the subtitles, basically, at that point. Because I get really annoyed with how comic books, like how they're written. Mm-hmm. And like some are much better than others, but like Watchmen is very difficult to read because it is chunks. So once the pictures are out of the way, well, now I just have to read this book, and that's fine.
Interesting. Do you guys, listeners, do you guys read it that way?
No, nobody does.
Probably not, but I kind of get that. So let me ask you this: when you flip through, let's say for this, you have 5 issues of a comic to read, right? Do you flip through one issue? Well, you read it as individual issues, not in a collected trade, right?
Yeah. Like I did one, I flip through one, then read the words to one, and then
at the same time, or do you flip through it, go do the dishes and come back and read it again? Like, do you separate it?
I try to do it at the same time. Yeah, I try to do it at the same time. But here's where it helps. If I'm reading a block of text and I'm like, boy, you lost me, I know what happens. So I know that I'm not losing anything to skip this word bubble and go on to the next page.
Oh, I see.
So I know that by the next, if I know because of the pictures, well, I better find out why Fugitoid is there. I better,
This is important. I should focus on this
because I have the pictures in my mind briefly, precursorily. Just a little bit of I have an idea. Oh, Fugitoid's there. Oh, he gets overloaded with power and explodes. Well, I want to find out why he gets overloaded with power and explodes. So I'm going to look for the part where they explain it. If we're getting close to that page and they're not explaining it and I'm bored with what they're saying, I'm going to skip it and get to the part that tells me what the information I need.
I do not do it that way. I think every panel, I probably, I think I try to read before I look at the picture of each panel one at a time. Same thing as a macrocosm of the page. But I think sometimes when you hit a certain splash or a certain image, you can't help but go to that image first. But I will read the words. I think on average, I'll read the words first and then explore the picture.
Yeah.
Even sometimes they use they use bubbles to kind of tell the narration in a story, and you're supposed to read this, look at this, read this, look at this, read this, look at this in the same panel. I'll usually read all the bubbles first, and then kind of go back and look at the images.
It's the same way I go to a museum. I walk into a room and I'll go look at everything first, and then go back and read the things I wanted to learn about. Whereas some people in my family, just read everything in order. And
that's what me and my dad do.
Yeah. So it's I will have gone around the room 3 times already and be like, okay, ready, I'm done.
And I'm imagining when you go around the room, you're going, making those noises with your mouth.
Yeah. No. But like you'll walk around the room, you'll look at the stuff, and then you go back and read the things that give you the information you need. And
that makes sense.
So that's kind of my approach to comics. Because again, I like to absorb the art first because I think the art is the coolest part for me. And then, a lot of times the art will tell as much the story as any of the words will.
I guess now that I think of it, and Watchmen is a very unique example no matter what. But if I've read a book a couple of times, I will look at pictures first because I know the story. So I'll try to see, is there something in this frame, in this panel that I didn't see before? And I'll try to dissect that a little bit and then jump into the words. And I'll also, like you said, like if I'm reading a Punisher book, I'm fast forwarding in my mind through the Russian shit and the Russian and Janucci and stuff like that. I don't need that stuff. I want to hear the Punisher's narration. I want to hear the Punisher's fighting words and stuff. So I don't need to read all that stuff deeply. So not that I skim it, but I kind of in one eye and out the other,
No, I get you. I haven't gotten to read a comic in a minute. Have a kid and it kind of sidetracks it. But I read Batman Court of Owls in a collection, and that was really cool. That was a pretty darn good.
It's not bad, right? It's fun.
Yeah, that was a good one. It's interesting that Batman in comic form has gotten to a point where like everybody wants to like push him to the limit and see where Batman can break. Let's break the bat. And like, I mean, how many of these have we read where it's like Batman at his most stressed out? Is he going to make it? What?
I like that phrasing. Batman at his most stressed out. I would love to see like fucking Frank Miller be like, in Daredevil, we pushed in Born Again, we pushed Daredevil to the limits. But in this book that I'm hyping for, we see him at his most stressed out.
Well, it's like, I mean,
it's like tax season and his roof has a leak. Oh, I'm stressed out.
I'm working my way through the full like Nightfall, Night's End, all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
The big fat ass compendiums that like just tons and tons and it's funny because the whole thing about that is like Batman, he's so stressed out, he can't handle it, he's exhausted, pushed to his limit, and then fucking Arkham Asylum breaks open. Now he's got to catch all the bad guys again.
He's got a cold.
Yeah, and he's sick, and then he gets his back broken, and you're like, oh, but Batman. And then it's like Court of Owls does the same thing, and like there's got to be at least 3 or 4 other ones that's like, I'm so exhausted being Batman, let's push him to the limit. It's like, oh, great.
I'm like, so stressed out. I need a massage.
And then when you think about that, like, and then he has to go up against the Mad Hatter. How annoying. Like at that point, it's not even like, Scarface, I got to talk to this dummy. Like this isn't even dangerous. This is just a sideline of annoyance.
This is just taking an hour out of my night.
Yeah. Like I could be going after the Joker, but I have to fuck around with Professor Pig. Ugh. So annoying. Like, can we get a villain that matters here? Like, I got to deal with your stupid ass. Like, ugh.
I have thought that, and Batman is the best example, and the one that I've done the most specifically, where like, there's times where like, you read The Killing Joke, or you read, it doesn't even have to be like a monumental story, but you read something where he's going up against a Joker. And I think in my mind, in my heart, my understanding of both characters, Batman is afraid of the Joker because he can't put him in a box. Like he could put any other guy in a box. Be like, this is the Riddler's deal. This is Freeze's deal.
Yeah.
I can't really figure Joker out. There's no way to anticipate him. And I think that scares Batman because of the absence of logic, the absence of order there. So I think when Batman is walking into a building to find or fight the Joker, I think he's like, fuck, is this going to be the time? But you're right. He never thinks that when he's going against fucking, Scarface or who'd you say? The Mad Hatter. Like he's never like, is this going to be the time?
Yeah.
You're just like, ugh.
Yeah. This fucking guy with his damn puppet. Or, or it's like, he's like, oh, I better go stop the Joker. I'll take the shortcut through the sewers. And it's like, hope no killer crocs are down here because that would really waylay me for about 45 minutes. And usually,
because Killer Croc, like you just got to outsmart him and outfight him, right?
Yeah.
And Killer Croc has nothing except that he's big. And like, I feel like if you could beat Killer Croc in a fight one time, you could beat him every time, right?
Yeah.
Because what are you worried about?
He's
You know how to do
usually
it.
4 pages of sideline fight for no reason. Like, you're just like, yeah, all right. Well, Killer
I'm
Croc's
trying
usually
to deal with Hush, but
Yeah.
now Croc is in the way. So
man bats flying around. I'll go take care of him later. Like, can you imagine just being like a character that's just on the to-do list, like a sub check mark, like defeat Scarecrow,
first level boss,
and catch Man Bat. like when you play the video games, I love the Arkham Asylum video games. Those are super fun. But like, that's the sort of thing where it's like, well, if I go I got to get Bane and I got to stop Poison Ivy. Those are going to be hard fights, and those are going to be like a time consuming thing. But like, I got to see Man Bat flying around over there. I'll go figure that out later.
Zaz.
But yeah.
Okay, he's a crazy guy with a knife. I feel like Batman could handle that, even if he has a cold and is very stressed out.
Yeah. And he does, as we've seen in Nightfall. He stops that sorority massacre. Yeah. If you are into being a supervillain, if that's your idea, just don't be a check mark on some superheroes list that's like,
go big or go home.
Yeah. Be the main event. Don't be the undercard. Be the main event.
Now I want to write a Batman comic called Batman Stressed Out.
Stressed Out. And it
ends with him in a mud bath, but he's just got the cowl on. Like, he's shirtless in the mud bath with the bat cowl on. And it's a Kelly Jones. I want Kelly Jones to draw it.
With like cucumbers over his little his little white triangles.
Yeah, triangle cucumbers.
I love that, man. That's hilarious. Oh man, that's good. I gotta find some more. I need to read some more comics. I have a bunch of my Comixology sort of thing that I'm interested in.
You know what I want you to do? I want you to check out the new Marvel Alien stuff and tell me what you think, because I'd be interested. I
read it.
About it.
I bought it.
Oh, I thought you didn't read it. We had do an episode about that and I didn't remember?
I haven't read it yet. I bought it.
Oh. Read it. I'm on the second story now, which is much different than the first, and it's interesting. And the art, it's like Star Wars, how I feel about Star Wars now. It might not be the best, but as long as you're not shitting on stuff, it's new content for something that I enjoy. Go ahead. And it's almost better that it's not mind-blowing, because if it was mind-blowing, I need Amanda and Kent and working out. I need all that to leave me alone so that I could read it. Right now, it's just fun to do for 20 minutes. So if I'm going to, getting ready to go to bed and I'm going to conk out, I can just kill a new Alien comic and be like, that was fun. And I read an Alien adventure and now I
take that back. I did read it. I read it and then gave it to my brother. Because it was the guy and his son, and the son was part of like an eco-terrorist group that's like, we're gonna free the monkeys, and like,
interesting enough take. Like, I think funny.
I hated the sort of like mind meld that you get if a face hugger's on you. That pissed me off.
I agree.
But again, they don't harp on it so hard. That isn't like such a main plot point that I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Right.
I actually didn't mind the species queen thing that they pop in there, because I'm like, that's kind of a dream. It doesn't have to be real.
Sure. It's kind of. I had the same thing. I was like, that might just be him.
Yeah, it's
his interpretation.
It's the idea of an inevitability that, like, because of all the gene splicing. So that's not too bad. I'm on board for that, and it had some cool alien shit.
The Salvador Larroca art looks pretty good.
The art was great. Yeah, I like the art a lot. So yeah, I'm into it. I got to read some more stuff. I always get the urge when I look at my Comixology library to reread the Alien versus Predator, the original Dark Horse one, because every time I see it, I'm like, yeah,
it's so good.
And then I like reading the RoboCop versus Terminator is one that I'll always go back to. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. I'm due for a reread on that. I haven't read that in a while.
It's good. It's really, really good. Stupid but fun in a great way. I love unnecessary crossovers, like Batman versus Predator. Again, like, awesome. Mm-hmm. I have an idea for one of my own that I would love to like hash out with you one day. It is Predator versus Pinhead.
Oh, we've talked about, I think when we lived together, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I would do that.
my pitch is it's this predator that he's weaker than like a lot of the big predators, but he's obsessed with the trophy, with the hunt, and he hunts serial killers because they are obsessed with trophies and the hunt. And so it's a predator that hunts like sick individuals who aren't like these big beastly like monsters. He likes the hunt of like dextering that shit. Mm-hmm. And one day he finds a serial killer who has the puzzle box, and the predator cloaked sees Pinhead and gets like a huge hard on for it. He's like, I want that head with the nails in it. Like he wants it. And so basically he sees it happen and then like is like, leave me on Earth, strand me here. Like I cannot leave unless I get this thing and figure out what the fuck that was. And so his hunting tribe is like, fuck you, dude, you're weird. Like leaves him there, strip him of everything and leaves him there. And he becomes obsessed with finding the box. And he, at the end of the first, like, it's like a 3-issue arc, like a 3-trade arc, you know? Mm-hmm. And at the end of the first book, he opens the box and goes into hell and sees a whole new world to hunt. And then in the second book, it's him tormenting Pinhead by like knocking off Cenobites just to piss off Pinhead. And Pinhead, throughout all of this, then suddenly finds out that the overseer of hell, the you know, there's the big thing in the sky, is like, he's like, you let this happen? He's like, yeah, because it's causing you pain and I love it. And so because I was trying to get around like, well, if you're in hell, like there's the big floating triangle monster thing, would just know that there's a predator there and like stop that immediately. No, because he knows that it's pissing off Pinhead. So they let it happen. And I wanted this like final battle in this room full of puzzle boxes. And they're just like sliding down. I'm like, think Scrooge McDuck's money pit puzzle boxes. And they're fighting in the puzzle boxes and like just all this bitch and shit. Like, I just want all this bitch and shit to like, I have one where the predator finds a room. It's like a torture chamber. And there's like this buffed out, like Arnold Schwarzenegger motherfucker who's like, I've seen you in the jungles. I know what you are. And he's like, oh shit. Like the predator has this moment with this like tortured soul where like, he's like, I recognize you. We were in the jungles of Belize, man. We shouldn't have been there, but like you were out there hunting us in the dark and the, you know, some crazy shit like that. And like just the Pinhead becomes obsessed with like killing him and he becomes obsessed with Pinhead and it turns into like this great, like, I think it'd be really fun. Again, completely unnecessary and a huge stretch of a crossover, but like if done right, fucking baller.
Yeah. I mean, I would read that. I've read worse crossovers specifically featuring the Predator.
100%. Yeah, exactly. Remember when we did Predator versus Everybody? That was a great episode. Good episode. Hey, you new listeners, if you haven't checked out Predator versus Everybody, we have Predator versus Jason Voorhees. We hypothesized Predator versus Peter Parker. Wolverine. Oh, such good ones.
Peter Parker and Matt Murdock / Daredevil and Spidey. And right now, everyone, all the new listeners are like, so Predator versus Roomie? Who's Roomie? Which one is... Which one is really?
Well, guys, let us know what you've been reading. What's your comic book obsession? How do you read a comic book? Do you read it weird? I read it backwards and then I draw the pictures myself and then I put the words in. And then that's how I
give it to my kids and then read a grown-up book, you assholes. I was reading a novel the other day. I was reading White Fang and Kent came up. There's a wolf on the front and he was like, Daddy, what book is that? He's very into like what book, what song, what movie, what are you watching or reading? What book is that? It's called White Fang. And I showed it to him. I said, there's no pictures. It's called a novel. It's not a comic book. And he looked at Amanda, my wife, like super proud and was like, Mommy, Daddy reading, not a comic book. And I thought he like, it was like newsworthy to him that I was reading a book that did not have pictures in it. Not a comic book.
Not a comic book. Yeah, I've been listening to some books. I got the Audible because, like I said, long commute. So I've been listening to some good books.
Do you just look at both sides of the CD? Do you use even CD? Probably not. It's digital, right?
Yeah.
Do you like listen to it and fast forward first just so you get the gist of it and then you go back and know which conversations you have to pay attention to?
Sometimes I'll put it on 2-speed just so I hear because I'm like, I get it. They're fighting. Do it. And you're like, thanks, Chipmunk Man. Back to regular speed.
Ooh, this is a good part.
Yeah, exactly.
Let us know if you guys are listening because you found a pog, whether it was mysterious, whether it was mysterious or you were fucking dancing and Rumi threw it in your face.
You were dancing and I just made it rain pogs.
Dude, that was one of, and like you and I have had plenty of actual adventures that are legit adventures. We've also had plenty of fun ass times together. That night was one of my favorite roomie memories I'll ever have, is you fucking just dancing your ass off at that place.
Man, we went nuts. It was good times. San Diego Comic-Con next week. If you guys are going, we will not be there. Sad tear, big crocodile tears there. I'm so bummed. But if you are going, pick me up something good. That NECA booth, damn, like that I'm bummed about, but whatever, is what it is. Anyway, hit us up on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at LaunchpadPod, and our website, launchpadpod.com. Check out the YouTube, see our pretty faces. Check out my new Jason Voorhees mask that I got up behind me. Woo, 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 woo. Super cool.
There's a bunch of people going to launchpadpodcast.com and they're like, that roomie guy lied to me.
Be careful, man. You misspell that domain name and you will.
One of my favorite shitty movies is called Black Panther. No, not Black Panther. Cougar, Black Cougar. And all the DVD says is blackcougar.com. And they no longer own that domain. just say that.
Awesome. I love that. All right, Remy, let's blast this thing off. And pick up your dog shit. Just saying.
We're looking at you, kids who live in a house with no grown-ups.
All right, we're the Rocketeers and we're out.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.